So, from IGN, Nintendo delays Switch 2 pre-order date in the US to assess impact of Trump's tariffs. Oh boy, yeah, we got, what was it, the Day of Liberation, I think he called it, where, the US set a bunch of tariffs on the rest of the world, and, they gotta take action. Everybody's gotta take action. Worst thing is, these are reciprocal tariffs. So, yeah, no, it's going to be wild, and it seems like Nintendo is already taking action. So, let's read by Wesley Yinpool. Nintendo has taken the unprecedented decision to delay Switch 2 pre-orders in the US, blaming the impact of Trump's tariffs and quote, evolving market conditions. Pre-orders were set to go live in the US on April 9th. Nintendo did not share an updated kickoff date, but did promise that the June 5th, 2025 release date of the Switch 2 itself remains intact. Nintendo issued IGN the following statement. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start on April 9th, 2025 in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th, 2025 is unchanged. Nintendo has confirmed the pre-order delay is specific to the US. In the UK, for example, Nintendo's pre-order delay remains unchanged. All right, let me see. Primal Raptor, welcome to Damon. How you doing? Where's the fucking guitar? I know. I'm exhausted. So yeah, we're doing a chill stream today. I'm recovering this story. Very convenient that the place where the most angriest people, the most backlash that the Switch got was in the US, and they're blaming the tariffs. Could be the tariffs. Could easily be the tariffs. Nintendo announced the Switch 2 at $449.99, $450 with Mario Kart World bundle priced at $499.99, $500 plus tax in the US, because in the US tax is added after the price. Mario Kart World itself is priced at $79.99. So when we covered the Nintendo Direct, we had so many issues I had so many issues with the Nintendo Switch. At no point did we bother looking up the prices. We only saw the price for the retro subscription, which is $50 a year, which is not bad, not great. It's just the fact that you're charging me a premium subscription to play older games, and that's why Nintendo hunted down emulators is kind of scummy. But here you go. $450. Now, if we consider the price of the adjustments for inflation, this makes sense. It still feels not right. So $50 a year is somewhat okay. Yeah, I would say so. $50 a year is somewhat okay, but in principle, in the context of everything else Nintendo has done, it's not. And I don't feel it is. Because yeah, when we covered the Nintendo Direct, we didn't bother checking the price. I am simply not interested in the Nintendo Switch. But now that we are past April 2nd, which by the way was my birthday, but Trump decided to make it Liberation Day, the tariffs are hitting, and they're gonna go quite a bit. It's 14th century painting by a Flemish artist. We're gonna check that after. You got my word. I was expecting something like this. I didn't know the pre-orders were going to go up in April 9th. So that's what, on Wednesday? Wednesday is April 9th, right? Yes, Wednesday. Considering the amount of backlash Nintendo's got, especially considering that they are charging $80 for Mario Kart. No. And I saw Angry Joe's video, and he made a very good point. Nintendo doesn't lower their prices. So, it's okay, Zrach. It's okay. I forgive you. You're not stupid. You were just wrong. That's different. Nintendo's in a world of pain. They are in for a world of pain. As I said before, this is their last console before they have to directly compete with PlayStation. I think this is their last console before they have to go directly compete with PlayStation and Xbox. And I don't think they're going to do too well. They are not equipped for powerhouse consoles. and the Nintendo titles are. They already have to. They already have to now. Yeah, now they have. Like this is, and no, I'm saying like this is the last console because they still have that. Okay, but the Switch is like kind of handheld. Like right now, the Nintendo Switch is not fully competing with Sony and Xbox. They're more competing with the Steam Deck and the Lenovo. What's the name of the Lenovo portable? Lenovo portable. The Legion Go. So yeah, with the Lenovo Legion Go, the Steam Deck, and the similar devices that are these handheld console hybrids that you can take on the go and you can then put as a living room setup kind of thing. So there's still, and Nintendo has always had this in-between gray area market for themselves. They always had it. And after the Switch 2, I don't think they will. I think it was Asmon who pointed out, this is the first console Nintendo has ever released with the number 2 on it. They had never, ever named a console, because we have PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. We have Xbox, who doesn't know how to count, which is different. But, you know, they had those incremental Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series whatever. So they have a different thing. But Nintendo, each console wasn't just an improved version of the previous. It was a new gimmick. It was a new concept altogether. This is the first time since the Super Nintendo that they just go for a simply more powerful version of the previous console. We're not going to count the handhelds because technically the Nintendo DSi falls into that category. But Wii and Wii U, no. No, the Wii U was compatible with the Wii Remote. But the Wii U was a completely different gimmick to the Wii. It was a more powerful version. It looked a lot like the box itself looks a lot like the Wii. It's not the number 2, so it's that. But otherwise, the gimmick of the Wii was the motion controllers. The gimmick of the Wii U was basically a precursor of the Nintendo Switch. So, but the naming reused. Welcome, Jippy. Welcome today. How you doing? The pricing is slow, overlaps of gain available. Yeah. Soon as the rich get their wallets drained, that's when they actually give a fuck. Predictable. Yeah. And it seems like this time the pressure is coming from above with the tariffs. So, which is what you were talking about. Yeah. The naming is somewhat reused. Since Nintendo Wii and Wii U. Then we have, I guess, since the Wii and Wii U, which is like 2 generations ago. Because first we had the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Wii U, which was a marketing blunder. Because that needed to be the Wii 2. That needed to be the Wii 2. Or a completely different name, and Nintendo blundered with it. And I think they learned their lesson with this. And now Switch and Switch 2. Switch 2 games that are $90, yeah. $80 for the digital version of Mario Kart, $90 for the physical. So, and that's in the US plus tax. I think it's 7%, so $100, give or take. As well, in the Wii, like a second version, it really was. Yeah, the Wii U was very unsuccessful in comparison to everything before, and I like the Wii U. I have it. I have a Wii U, and I like it. It's a good console. It was a good console because it allowed me to play games from the Wii. It had that backwards compatibility. I'm kind of sad that it didn't have backwards compatibility with the GameCube, but that's besides the point. And then, then after that, not much else. But the point still stands of Nintendo, this was never about being a powerhouse and just bringing power. It was always about the gimmicks. It's always been about the gimmicks. And this is the last console where they have the gimmicks. I find this delay of the pre-orders to be very convenient. They got themselves the perfect excuse, and I'm pretty sure there is legitimacy to it. They have to reassess the prices. But if they had to reassess the prices, they would... I don't know. If they're going to change, they might have to change the price of the Switch 2. I don't know. As it stands right now, we still know that it was announced at $450. and $500 with Mario Kart. So you get a $30 discount on Mario Kart. So let's continue reading. Nintendo Switch 2 comes with the following. The Nintendo Switch 2 console, Joy-Con 2 controllers, left and right, Joy-Con 2 grip, Joy-Con 2 straps, Nintendo Switch 2 deck, ultra high-speed HDMI cable, which is an HDMI cable, Nintendo Switch 2 AC adapter, and a USB-C charging cable. Nintendo's statement issued today raises the prospect that it could hike the price of the Switch 2 and its games further amid what is already an angry backlash to its next-gen pricing strategy. If they raise the prices any further, they're going to be in big trouble. Even if they blame Trump for it. Even if they blame Trump for it, asking $450 for a console. How much is the Lenovo Legion Go? How much is it? Oh, for fuck's sake, give me a proper price. Okay, 217,000 Hungarian forint, which is 217, 1, 2, 3. So that is 586, so about $600 for the Legion Go. Let's see the Legion Go 2, because I think the new one is launching soon. Okay, we don't have a price for the Legion Go 2 yet. $729. However, when we look at the specs, we will see that the Legion Go, will have considerably better. So we're talking about a Ryzen CPU, a Radeon 780M, which is pretty good. So we have a 1920 by 1200p, so 1200p, 144 hertz. So that means, depending on the game, you can get up to 44 frames per second at 1200p instead of 1080p. 32 gigs of RAM and up to 1 terabyte PCIe SSD. PCIe SSD. Not the SanDisk, what's it called? Proprietary. You have to buy the new one. You can grab an older PCIe SSD and plug it in. And the screen is bigger. And it has, we don't know how many ports it's going to have, the second one. But this one is worth the $800 because you're getting a gaming PC with a hybrid of a Switch. With the interface of a Switch, basically. Or the Steam Deck. It's an $800. Basically a $600 PC with a screen attached? Yeah. Not just with a screen attached, with the design of a Nintendo Switch. This is what it looks like. This is worth $800. Because then, yeah, you get the one of the third-party docks to plug it into into a monitor or into a TV. And that's what? Yeah, $800. $800. Almost twice the price of the Nintendo Switch. Difference is, this is well over twice the power. Because the Nintendo Switch 2, we saw that select games will have 120 frames per second. Select games will have 1080p, 60 frames per second. Select games. Here, you get to choose. Because it's a PC. It's a PC. So, go ahead, JP. Go ahead. Go get yourself. Go get some Nissin Soba. Hang on. Let me see. I still have the Fallout faction meme in my head. Just how perfect this guy has guns and laser technology. Yeah, there you go. I wouldn't be surprised if games are going to be more than $100 regularly from now on, and that's one of the fears we have. That Nintendo's the one pushing the envelope over here. I'm not paying $100 for Mario Kart. I'm not paying $80 for Mario Kart. I'm not paying $70 for Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a $50 game. Mario Kart is a $50 game. But it's Nintendo. They're the Disney of gaming. And they think they can get away with it. They're Disney and the Apple of gaming. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's continue reading. Speaking in a video on their YouTube channel, former Nintendo of America PR manager Kit Ellis and Krista Yang criticized Nintendo for the way that it revealed the $449.99 price of the Switch 2 and the $79.99 price of the Mario Kart World following its Nintendo Direct, which is basically they didn't. They told you to go to the website and there find the price because they knew it was a bad idea. I don't want to blow things out of proportion, but it does feel like a true crisis moment for Nintendo, Ellis said, which is absolutely true. Nintendo is in a big crisis right now, and they're stuck. And they're going to be stuck, and it's going to suck for them. Like, the next few years for Nintendo are going to be rough. Especially after how they've treated the Smash community, especially after how they treated Palworld, especially after how they've treated emulators, considering that it's all culminated into this, which is basically a cash grab. Yeah, no, we are not in a good spot, are we, Nintendo? Are we? U.S. market tumbled today after China hit back against Trump's tariffs on a raft on tariffs. China, which faces a 54% import tax, has retaliated with an additional 34% tax on U.S. goods from next week. What the fuck does China import from the U.S.? It's the other way around, and it has been the other way around for a very long time. So yeah, this is more grandstanding. We'll see. We'll see. Moments before the U.S. market opened, Trump said China played it wrong. They panicked and insisted his policies would never change. Gonna go into go ahead, Primo. The world is now left facing economic uncertainty, always has, with some mainstream news media declaring the era of cheap goods now over for the American consumer, as higher tariffs are automatically passed through inflation and to inflation and higher prices. Baldwin, welcome to today. How you doing? Yes, it is a moment of panic for a lot of people, and it's a hard reset. If there was ever going to be a great reset of a world economy, it's this. The US doing the reciprocal tariffs. I'm not going to tell you what to think of those. I think I consider it a necessary evil, considering that the US wasn't charging any of the tariffs that they were being charged. So, yeah. Tariffs are essentially taxes placed on the cost of importing certain goods. While it's possible for companies in the supply chain to simply eat these costs, more often than not, these taxes are passed on to consumers. And unfortunately for gamers, rising prices are very likely to impact tech and gaming goods. While this is very true, we had the tech company announcing that they were making a chip manufacturing plant in the US. That they were making, that there's going to be there's a bunch of manufacturing coming back to the U.S. So what are these tariffs going to do? They're going to disincentivize customers to buy foreign. The industries that are going to be the most affected by this: cars, automobiles, and coffee, in my opinion. Because those two are the ones where you truly get the brand recognition and you truly have that essential differences between the different countries. But after that, yeah, no, a lot of people are going to start buying American because of this. Because you're going to see similar products, and the foreign products are going to be considerably more expensive, which is how it works in most of the world. And over here, the tech prices are going to go up, except for games. There is no tariff for digital goods. The tariffs are for physical goods. So if a game developer decides to raise the price on American customers, that is entirely a political move. Entirely a political move. Because there are no the tariffs are for goods, physical, like digital physical goods. Digital goods are usually not affected because you just get a VPN and that's it. It's really difficult to tariff the digital goods. So let's continue reading. Nico Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad had warned that Trump's surprise tariffs on countries such as Vietnam, where Nintendo had shifted some of its Switch 2 manufacturing, and anticipation of US tariffs on China might have caused a rethink. Now that's ironic. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. They finally left China, which, what the fuck is well, I mean, why wouldn't you be manufacturing in China? You get anything for pennies on the dollar. Just to get hit with similar tariffs there. So yeah, they're probably going to have to move to like Singapore or Taiwan or something like that. One of the countries with less. Because what I saw is that the countries that have basically zero tariffs on the US, they're getting hit with a 10% tariff. So go to those. Or set a manufacturing plant in America. And that's it. You know, like, the options are there. There are solutions. If Nintendo increases the price even more, Blaming Trump is not going to be enough. I don't think blaming Trump is going to be enough. Let's finish the article. Quote, while the company has shifted some of its manufacturing to Vietnam to offset U.S. tariffs on China, the looming threat of reciprocal tariffs prior to the switch to showcase will have also forced Nintendo to consider a higher price for the rest of the world, Ahmad said. The reciprocal tariffs on Vietnam and Japan have the reciprocal tariffs on Vietnam and Japan have come in higher than expected, and Nintendo will feel the impact of this if the tariffs go into full effect. For more, check out these two articles. So yeah, at the end of the day, Nintendo is panicking. Nintendo's Direct was very much a panicked move. It was very much a panicked move, and it's only going to continue getting worse. It's really only going to continue getting worse, because yeah, Nintendo put themselves in a bad position with this. I think if they had gone $350, if they had gone $100 cheaper, then maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. Maybe people would have accepted the price of the more expensive games a little bit better. But at the end of the day, what was it? Nintendo announced the Switch 2 only hours before Trump announced the tariffs. So what can you do? What can you do? They could have. I do think they should have delayed the Direct, but at the same time, like what can you do? Like at that point, everything is booked. So yeah, they were put between a rock and a hard place, and their greed was put in full blast, and everything is backfiring for Nintendo. They are in a really bad spot, and they are not getting out of it anytime soon. So yeah, there you have it. That's our story. That's our first story. Like I decided, I'm gonna start this stream and let's cover this story. Let me know what you think, because this is gonna be a disaster. Like the tariffs, again, the tariffs are basically a hard reset button on the world economy. Because yes, the U.S. has gone with what is essentially a bad deal for them. Like they get tariffed on everything, and they barely put any tariffs, and they're saying enough is enough. Reciprocal tariffs. However, like we can make the whole argument of the numbers might not be as legitimate as they look, because they are accounting not just tariffs but currency manipulation, because that's what China does. China has like, oh, it's only this percent tariff, but then they do a bunch of fucky wuckies with the currency, and it results on the effective tariffs and tax rates being a lot higher. So they took that into account, and they are putting the tariffs into effect. I saw the list of the tariffs. It doesn't make me too happy that the EU is getting slapped with a fairly high number, but you know, is it wrong for me to wish America just fades into obscurity? Yes. Yes, it is. Because despite that, don't forget, they are paying for your military. One of the reasons why because I live in the European Union as well, we have so many luxuries such as tax-funded healthcare and tax-funded, like the incredible public services that we have, is because America pays for all the military. Because America pays for NATO. America pays for what, 70% of NATO? Which means America pays for your defense. So those tariffs are going to go back into your defense as well. So, yeah, no, I would say this is a way more complex game. I do see it as short-term pain for long-term gains. You know, kind of like the gym fucking principle. Is that worth the blood they shed in the past when others tried to rebuild and foster peace? Well, blame the CIA and Nixon. Was it Nixon? Bush. Both of them. We're under a very different leadership now. And that's the thing, right? The U.S. is under a very different leadership. Because this United States of America is very, very different from the United States of America of George Bush. St. Just Germany! Welcome to today, man. How you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, no, it's not an easy topic. But don't forget, this is them looking for themselves. This is them looking after themselves for the first time in a very long time. I can't blame them for doing that because every country does this. Every country imposes tariffs on everybody else. The problem is that we have grown so accustomed to the United States not doing it and letting everyone get away with everything that they wanted, that now that they're putting their foot down, it's sending shockwaves throughout the entire world. Because don't forget, the tariffs are reciprocal. They are not just fuck you, I don't like you, I'm doing this to you. These are fuck you, you're doing this to me, I'm going to half do it to you. Because the tariffs that they announced are about half of what the other country does. That's the wildest part. That these tariffs that they are imposing are reciprocal, and the US is charging about half of what the opposition country charges. Taking into consideration other methods such as currency manipulation. So yeah, we are seeing this affect now Nintendo being the first major story, I guess, after the collapse of the stock market. So we're currently having a trade war, so it's fuck you right now, but you aren't wrong. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that a lot of countries have taken advantage, rightfully so, to the US's very overly generous at their own expense policy. And now the US is starting to they realized that came at a very heavy price. A very heavy price. So they're trying to push things back into the US and all that stuff. Weeb Metalhead, welcome to today. You're doing well. Good to see. How are you? How you doing? Welcome to today. I'm doing fantastic. So yeah, to close this, I don't think the tariffs are the only reason why Nintendo is delaying the pre-orders in the US. I think the tariffs were the best excuse they could have. The backlash that Nintendo got, I have yet to see any positive comments about the Nintendo Direct, like net positive, of people being like, I am so getting this, I'm so hyped for this, I'm getting a Switch 2, whatever. I have yet to see any coverage like that. Every coverage I've seen, even from hardcore Nintendo fans, has been, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What do you mean? What do you mean $500 for the console and a single game? This isn't a PS5. We're doing reacts? Yes, we are. We're doing reacts. So if you have any stories, any YouTube videos you want me to see, just link them. Go ahead and place the link, and we'll watch it. So yeah, I think it's a perfect scapegoat. Like right now, anything that a company does for the next 8 months, any price changes, anything like that, they have the perfect excuse of, well, we have to adjust to the tariffs. We have to adjust to the tariffs. Everyone except game developers. Because game developers don't have to worry about tariffs. Digital goods are not tariffed like this. At least not that I know of. That I know of, putting a tariff on a video game, not a good idea. Because those are sold on a global marketplace. And everyone gets basically the same price. Local tax might differ, but there you go. So, yeah, that's our first story. That's our first story of the day. Nintendo has delayed the Switch 2 pre-orders in the US, blaming Donald Trump. I did not have this on my bingo card for political, that Nintendo would blame Donald Trump. Although, in their statement, what did the statement say? Okay, they didn't directly name Trump, but, you know, the evolving market conditions is them realizing that they are not in the position that they were 10 years ago. The market has evolved, and Nintendo has finally got that ice cold bucket on their face. And it's going to be ugly. And it's going to be ugly. The tariffs are going to be the least of Nintendo's problems. That's my thought. So, anyway, there you go. That's our first story. Good stuff.